Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My today's topic is past continuous tense. Do you know what is past continuous tense? Let me explain. The past continuous tense is also known as past progressive tense. It is a verb tense used to describe actions or events that were ongoing or in progress in the past. It is formed by using was and were and present participle. In past continuous tense, we use was and were as helping verbs, or we can say auxiliary verbs, and we use present participle. You know what is present participle? Present participle means when we use ing with base form of the verb. Base form means first form of the verb. It is known as present participle. Okay, so in past continuous tense, we use was, were as helping verbs and present participle. Past continuous tense is typically used to describe an action that was happening at a specific point in the past. For example, I was studying when she called me. Okay. Past continuous tense is used to describe two actions that were happening simultaneously in the past. For example, while I was cooking, my brother was watching TV. It provides background information or set the scene in a story. For example, the sun was setting and birds were chirping in the distance. And past continuous tense expresses irritation or annoyance about a repeated action in the past. For example, he was interrupting me. We can say he was always interrupting me when I was talking. And it is important to note that the past continuous tense emphasizes the duration of an action in the past rather than its completion. As I told you, we describe the ongoing action in the past, or any action, anything that is going on, but in the past situation. We use past continuous tense, and we use was and were as helping verbs. We use present participle. Okay, if we talk about in Urdu language, so at the end of the sentence we have raha tha, rahi thi, rahe the at the end of the sentence in Urdu. Okay, and we use was with singular pronouns, we use were with plural pronouns. So now I will show you exercise, you can say, or examples of past continuous tense. As you can see, he was running fast. Look, as I told you, these are the affirmative sentences. Keep in mind, these are affirmative or positive sentences. Okay, so with singular pronouns we use was. Singular pronouns are I, he, she, it, name, noun, and all the singulars. We use was. Were we use with plural pronouns. For example, you, we, they, and all the plurals. We use were. We use ing with base form of the verb, as you can see in these examples. He was running fast. You were telling a story. They were selling their car. She was weeping bitterly. We were sleeping soundly. Horses were grazing in the field. The dog was barking at night. Children were making a noise. As you can see, children, it's a plural. If child is there, so child was, but here we have children. Children were making a noise. Okay, some boys were collecting dry leaves. His brother was working in the mill. My father was waiting for his friends. Okay, in these examples you have seen that with singular pronouns I have used was, with plural pronouns I have used were, and in all the sentences I have used present participle. Present participle means I have used ing with first form of the verb. For example, running, telling, selling, reaping, sleeping, and so on. Okay, so these were the affirmative or positive sentences. In negative sentences, what we do, we use not. For example, he was not running fast. Okay, he was not running fast. You were not telling a story. We use was not and were not in negative sentences. Okay, in negative sentences we use was not and were not. In interrogative sentences we use kya in the beginning of the sentence in Urdu. Okay, and in English we use helping verb in the start of the sentence, or in the beginning of the sentence we use was and were. As you know that these are the helping verbs. So with singular pronouns you will use was, and with plurals you will use were. For example, were you combing hair? Were they lighting fire? Were the boys quarreling among themselves? Were they listening to their teacher attentively? So these are the examples from interrogative sentence. And in interrogative we use not. How we will form such sentences? Were they not listening to their teacher attentively? Were they not? First we will use the helping verb, then subject, and after subject we will use not, and then main verb, and so on. Okay, in WH sentences or WH family, or you can say modal auxiliary verbs or interrogative pronouns, we use where, when, how, who, etc. First we will use that words, when, where, etc. And after that we will use helping verb. Helping verbs are was and were. For example, who was throwing stones at the bus? Who was throwing stones at the bus? Okay. Another example, whose socks were they darning? Okay. Another one, why were the boys quarreling among themselves? In which bank were they depositing money? Okay, so these were the examples of past continuous tense. In past continuous tense we describe the ongoing action, any action that was going on somewhere in the past. Okay, that action is not complete. That is, it emphasizes the duration of an action in the past rather than its completion. Okay, and in Urdu we use raha tha, rahi thi, rahe the at the end of the sentence in Urdu language. And in interrogative sentences, interrogative and WH family, we use question mark at the end of the sentence as well. Okay, I hope this lecture will be helpful for the students, and thank you so much for watching.